father, I think he was in hospital for 2 years. He had 140 surgeries. And I think at that point in time, what I realized was how strong my mother was and how strong my family was. Technical flaws were. But going back on hindsight, is there regret? Sure, there is regret. Was there something to learn from? Yes. Was there a cost to it? Big time. I come out of my shower and I go to the mini bar to pick a Coca-Cola or something, which is in the living room area. And I see these 3 girls sitting on the couch.
Oh my God.
And I'm like really shocked. Did I get bullied? Yeah. Was I made to do crazy things like do push-ups or like push-up position for 45 minutes because you didn't tie your shoelace and somebody had a grudge against you? Yeah. Did I cry? No. Because you can't.
Hello, welcome to Pinkvilla. I am Sakshi Arora and you are watching Retro Gupshup. Today I have someone with me who redefined cool in Bollywood and also flaunted his relationship with pride even when he was a heartthrob. Welcoming Zayed Khan.
Hi, how are you, Sakshi? Thank you for that lovely intro. I hope I can keep the flag flying high as long as possible.
I'm sure.
Welcome.
Main Hoon Naa is such an iconic film, right? So I have heard that you yourself went and reached out to Fardeen Khan. What's the story?
I was wanting Farah to do a song for my film Chura Liya Hai Tumne, and I was reaching out to her for that. And she didn't know me very well, and I was always introducing myself as Mr. Zayed Khan's son and Fardeen's brother, because obviously nobody knew me that time. So she said, come over, and I went to her office, and I was in Shah Rukh Khan's office, and I didn't know why. And then she said, what are you doing? What kind of thing? I said, no, I'm just doing a film right now. She's like, we are considering you for Main Hoon Naa's role. And in walks Shah Rukh, and a very, very magnanimous and very lovely gentleman. And he sits me down and he says, how are you, Zayed? And we're looking for a second lead in this film. And Farah said that you might be a good potential. But bhai ek baat bata, tujhe acting aati hai na? So I was a little sort of disturbed by that question. Immediately in my head wanted to say, yaar main filmy family se aata hu, so it's bound that acting is in my blood. But of course I said, come on man, I'm born to act and all of that, and rest is history. I showed Farah some of my rushes, and before she sat in her car, she said, send me your measurements, you're in my film. So I mean, life is full of that, it's all about constantly pursuing, constantly being perseverant, never letting anybody tell you no is the finality of everything. Till you don't push. Initially Farah didn't want to entertain me, but I kept calling her, I kept asking, and then finally she picked the phone up. So, you in life, you can only control the action. You can't control the outcome. But if the action is constant and very persistent, and your heart is in your right place and your sincerity is in your right place, then I do feel that amazing things happen. And this has not just happened to me in Main Hoon Naa, it's happened to me in most things that I've done. My graph has always been like this, like a wave, up and down, up and down. And strangely, the downs have taught me more than the ups. And that's just the way the world is, yeah.
One thing I've noticed throughout your career is that you have always been comfortable in your skin. You have never shied away from doing multi-starrers, even when you were at the peak of your career. What made you take those steps? I'm sure a lot of people would be advising you not to do so. In fact, Das is such a cool movie, and that's one of your best films, right? And
I'll
also
be
a multi-starrer.
sorry. I'll be very honest with you. When I thought about big films and people going to the cinema to watch larger-than-life films, to make that happen, you needed a team effort. You needed lots of people who can pull that audience and come, because otherwise going as in to watch a film that is more or less very realistic and to the bone and arty, that it's not an experience. So my idea was always to collaborate with the best names and the best people in the business, and I wanted to make larger than life movies, and strangely that's what's happening right now. I mean, right now if you see OTT platforms, are sticking to the kind of bracketed mid bracket movies, and then if you really want to go to the cinema, you want somebody to pull you so much that they make something so great that you say, okay, now I'm going to go pay for this ticket and go to the cinema and enjoy the experience and whatever else comes along with it, right? So yeah, that was my approach. Now, was it a good approach? I don't know, because I was young, I was very bullheaded, I thought I knew it all. And yes, I did a lot of very close, near, dear ones did tell me, Zayed, don't do so many multi-starers. And I really was shooting with the, from the hip. And I was very passionate and very, how do I say this? I think foolish also, yeah.
Why would you say that?
When you tie yourself up to so many multi-starrer movies and they don't work, your equity really drops. And I've noticed that. And I didn't think about it that way then. It's one thing that, you do 2-3 films on your own and that flops, and then you say, what, I might have to collaborate with somebody to, get something going, and people do that. And they take a risk on that, and sometimes it does really well, and wow, you're back in the game. That's where one of my technical flaws were. But going back on hindsight, is there regret? Sure, there is regret. Was there something to learn from? Yes. Was there a cost to it? Big time. Did that cost sharpen me? Amazingly. Has it geared me to go in for round 2? Now knowing what my opponent is all about? Yes. So that's where I am.
Your fans are too excited to see you back, and so are your female fans especially. I want to know the most crazy fan experience you have ever had.
Oh, don't.
Because I'm sure you would be having so many that it would be difficult for you to kind of recall one.
Wow. Okay. I've had... this is going back like a really long time ago, but I remember once I was doing a show in Vancouver. I had this very friendly, security guard who was asking me, is everything okay, this, that, and after you finish a show, you just go through so much emotionally because there's so many people, and you go through your performance and you have to do photo ops and you have to talk to interviews, and you have to do favors for people, and backstage is like, it's chaos, but you are enjoying the chaos at the time. And when you come back and you're so drained, all you want to do is just go back to your room and order a great meal and have a friend over and chat or have a drink. So my bouncer told me that, sir, the next guy is going to be coming in. My time is up. In case you need anything, let me know with him, or if you want to go out or something. I said, hey man, I'm just going to chill out at, in the room. So I go for my shower, and I come out of my shower and I go to the mini bar to pick a Coca-Cola or something, which is in the living room area. And I see these 3 girls sitting on the couch.
Oh my God.
And I'm like really shocked, I'm like looking at them and I'm trying to think, did I invite them? Or, because there's so much that happens.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is, but how did they come into my room and this and that? And I'm looking at them and they're looking at me and they're saying absolutely nothing. They're just smiling, and it's getting really creepy right now, And I'm like, should I call security? Like, how are you guys like here, And they were just so mesmerized. I remember their look, like as if I was, something that came out of a picture or something, And they said, no, you didn't call us. I was like, oh, okay, it's good to know. But then how are you here? No, your bodyguard was a friend of ours. I was like, oh, okay, so that's what the whole setting was. And I was in a towel, and I was like, okay, listen, guys, I think you might have to go. They're like, listen, we are big fans. Can we take you out for dinner?
That sounds
okay. I was like, God, dinner, man. And they were like literally so mad and they were just losing it. And I said, okay, listen, let me just go and let me just change. Okay, and we'll talk about this. And they happened to be so sweet. They said, please, there's this lovely place down. And it's like this rocking place and nobody will know you because it's like, it's more like a, Gora place. So come and just enjoy. So then I just looked at myself. I said, hey man, this is such a kind of funny situation, but like, why don't you see the eyes through Vancouver's, the people of Vancouver? So I said, okay, come on, let's go. And they took me to this place, and of course I didn't let them pay as as I usually am, a little old-fashioned that way. And we had a lovely dinner and a drink, and they were just absolutely thrilled to be and have that experience with me. And I came back to my hotel room and I was just like, the power of cinema and fame and a good performance is so unbelievable sometimes that you make a connection so deeply with people that they go absolutely gaga over you. So I mean it was very heartwarming to know that, but at the same time it was really scary, so yeah, I mean lots of other experiences like this, but
We definitely gave them a memory for their lifetime.
yeah, I certainly hope so, yeah.
The thing is that when you joined films, before that, you have had a rough patch because your father went through terrible fire accident, and
Right.
I'm sure it must have matured you, right? Because you saw all that at such a tender age. What did you learn from that?
I mean, you don't expect things like that in your life. I mean, at one level, you kind of see everything and everything going so well and everybody, and then all of a sudden, 75 people dying in a fire accident. And that time, there was no such thing as fire insurance or anything like that. So there was like a real big toll on the family, I remember. And my father, I think he was in hospital for 2 years. He had 140 surgeries. And I think at that point in time, what I realized was how strong my mother was and how strong my family was. And I also realized that there were certain people you called family that were really not family. I remember my mother, my father, saying that, we should send him to boarding school and all of that. And I was game because I was so young, I didn't know how to help. I was about 12 or 11 and I could see this whole turmoil every day with my mother, and my sisters and some near and dear friends. If boarding school was the answer for me, I'm game. Like, if I could help in any way, being less of a burden, on the family. So yeah, I remember my mother, she dropped me outside Krishna House in Welham Boys School. And she saw all these big boys and this hostel, and it was looking nothing like home, And she was about to cry, and I said, stop. I said, listen, if you do that, all these boys are going to rag the shit out of me, so don't. Just let me go. I'll be all right. And yeah, she held herself back, and I went in. I was ragged anyway. But I opened up in boarding school, actually. I made such good friends from all over India. I learned things that I don't think I would have ever learned living in a well-established house. I mean, we didn't polish our shoes, we were made murga. If we were late for anything, we were giving changing breaks. It was rough. I mean, if there was a senior who was one class your senior, but 5 inches shorter than you, and he told you, go get me tea, you just had to go get him tea, So it was very strange because it was very new to me.
Yeah.
And but I excelled in sports, I excelled in understanding myself. I started, honing on to my skills as in instincts of, who should I be with, who should I not, how to play sport. So everything starts to, because now you're fending for yourself, right? There's nobody coming and making your bed and giving you food and all of that. You have to like get everything done yourself. So boarding school was great, man. Actually, it was a lovely experience. Post which I went to Kodaikanal International School, which was a brilliant experience. And yeah, I think I'm a strong believer that children need to go to boarding school at some point in time. I think it brings the best out in them.
You mentioned an episode where a guy told you to bring tea for him.
Yeah.
It sounds like an episode of bullying. Were you bullied?
You know, man, when you're in boarding school and you're in like 7th grade and you have like seniors who are like 8th, 9th, 10th and, you know, much taller than you, there's a protocol. You never mess with a senior. And there is a rank that you have to follow. And they are prefects. The teachers don't have the power of controlling the school. It is the eldest boys within the school who control the school. So that's the hierarchy going forward. So everybody follows that protocol because it's like one for all and all for one. If you mess with one senior, you mess with all seniors. It's just the way it goes. And did I get bullied? Yeah. Was I made to do crazy things like do push-ups for like push-up position for 45 minutes because you didn't tie your shoelace and somebody had a grudge against you? Yeah. Did I cry? No. Because you can't. You never express your tears in front of anybody because that's your weakness and they'll get the better of you at that time. But yeah, were you in pain? You were in a lot of pain. you had to take.
So how were you as a senior when you reached their position?
Well, I became a prefect myself.
Yeah.
And I was the kind of senior who I used to protect my boys.
You were the good one.
I wouldn't say good one, but like I would say that, you know, I was the kind of guy who didn't allow like the other hostel guys to mess with my boys until there was a real issue. And yeah, there were times when if somebody lied to me, their punishment was to give me 2 YY packets, you know, so that was the thing. And yeah, I mean, if I found that somebody is breaking protocol or, you know, snitching on somebody else and spoiling the entire, you know, thing, then I would punish the guy. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we used to do crazy things in school. I'm sure if you go, you know, ask Wellham boys in general, my batch, they'll know what I did. But nothing out of the ordinary.
You share a great equation with your cousin Fardeen Khan, right? And you were contemporaries, right? So how did that play out? Because I'm sure you could have understood each other, but at the same time you were competitors. How did that play out?
I've never looked at Fardeen as a competitor. I don't even have that in my dictionary. Even though at that point in time there was little stuff that was going around. You know, there were about 30 movies being made and there were about 15 actors and that was it, and everybody was chasing them. But I never looked at Fardeen as a contemporary. He was a bro and he's always been the kind of brother I've had extremely intellectual conversations with, and he's been a good brother. And you know, we never looked at each other as competitors. We should have. That's different. We should have seen professionalism and brotherhood differently and play the game like that, like how everybody does. But we didn't.
How do your kids react to your films when it's coming on TV or otherwise?
It's always awkward for them, right? I mean, like my younger kid is he's quite the honest guy, you know. So like, if he doesn't like something, he'll be like, "Papa, it's really boring," or "Papa, it's really this." My elder one is more diplomatic. He's about 14. But yeah, they like some of my movies. I mean, I just finished one film, by the way, and I showed it to them. And they came and told me, "Papa, I want to see that again."
Wow, that's the best compliment.
So I said, "What did you like about it?" He's like, "Papa, you're just crazy and mad and like so funny, I can't tell you." I'm like, "Coming from you guys?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Can we call our friends?" But I said, wait, the movie is not ready. It's just more like internal. So no, yeah. So yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see like how they react.
While I was researching in the 2000s, it was very common. It still is when actors used to consult astrologers, numerologists. Did you ever think about that?
Am I wearing any rings?
No. But did it cross your mind because everybody around you was doing it, and some people even believe that it worked for them?
See, I'll be very honest. I'm an agnostic person. I believe in God, but I don't believe that religion is the answer to God. And I don't believe that all of these things that people are doing necessarily will give you your answers. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that if they believe that it's giving them answers, please be free to explore it. You don't need my vetting to understand whether it's working for you or not. I think it's very therapeutic to a lot of people. If you really want to change your destiny, you've got to first come to the sincere truth about what are you doing wrong and stop it.
Right.
Or better yourself in some sort of way, you know, or and I'll tell you, man, I'm not a person without flaws. I've had so many flaws in my life. I've had to rectify so many things about myself. And you know, it wasn't easy, you know, like drinking and partying and doing all of that nonsense. But it's part of growing up, and you know, you live and learn.
Lastly, what are you looking forward to in life right now?
I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to this movie that we've just finished. It's about 15 days away from completion, I mean, on post and everything. I'm looking forward to it coming out. I'm looking forward to several other ventures that I'm doing that I have been engaged in over the past 2 years. I'm looking forward to growing up with my children and you know, being a good dad and being a good like buddy to my wife. And I'm looking forward to, you know, at some point in time getting back in touch with what I love, which is acting, and reaching out to people, probably becoming a philanthropist at some point in time, because every billionaire, when he becomes a billionaire, he's always abused because he has too much money.
Like
And for
people
no
are
fault,
literally angry.
no fault of his, he
Yeah.
just did well, right? And the way the billionaire will try to win hearts back again is by becoming a philanthropist and giving back, right? Because then people are saying, "Acha, he gave, you know, so much here and he did so much charity out here, this and that." Now, the difference between that as an actor is, an actor has a direct connection to people's hearts. So they are born philanthropists. You know, think about it. 2 business households will not invite each other, which might be at the top of their game, but they'll invite Shah Rukh Khan
That's true.
to both. That's because he's managed to make that connection with everybody. And I feel that I've given a lot of time to my family, and I'm very happy with the way they've settled, and I didn't want to miss out on their growing years. And now I'm back. And now I want what's waiting for me.
Yeah, your fans are waiting for you too.
And I'm really looking forward to giving them a joyride.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. Thank you so much. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And all you guys out there, something big's coming up. Wait on. Hi guys, this is Zayed Khan, and you're watching Pinkvilla. If you like this show, please subscribe and share.